Warmbier's parents, Fred and Cindy, put the blame squarely on North Korea, writing in a statement, quote, "Unfortunately, the awful, torturous mistreatment our son received at the hands of the North Koreans ensured that no other outcome was possible beyond the sad one we experienced today." Tony, your take on these developments?
Well, look, there's no doubt in my mind he was tortured. Let's be very clear what happened here. And I've already said in other interviews, I think there needs to be some level of retaliation. I'll just be that direct about it. My son's 23. I cannot imagine the pain these parents are going through. This is truly tragic. My understanding from talking to the experts, he was tortured, not so much the way with you pulling fingernails out with tools, but by repeated drugging, sodium pentothal. The idea was they were trying to figure out if he was a CIA spy or not. He wasn't. And the continued and repeated exposure over that year to these drugs is what caused the consistent and persistent damage to the entire brain. So it was essentially the use of these drugs over and over again which caused the brain damage.
Now, there were some reports that he went into this vegetative state just recently, a couple of weeks ago. So was that?
I don't buy that. I think this.
The whole time you think he was just drugged from the beginning?
I think they started during his confinement and did it over and over. And I think one of the reasons they released him. I mean, no doubt President Trump saw this and started dealing with it early on. But no doubt they kind of like saw that some things are going to go tragically wrong. We better get this guy out of here anyway. So it served their purpose to get him out. The parents got their boy back, their son back. But again, Maria, it does not change the fact that he was tortured. This is something that we should not stand for. And I believe that President Trump recognizes how hideous this is and something that requires a response.
Yeah, and what kind of response do you expect or should be warranted?
In the Cold War, we had organizations which focused on what they called dirty tricks in the old days. Look, we need to rethink our foreign policy. We cannot simply sit back and let dictators, horrible people like Kim Jong-un, do these things and think they can get away with it. There's been no pushback. This is a remote analogy, but we just shot down a Syrian aircraft. We haven't shot down an aircraft since 1999. So I think it's time we reinsinuate ourselves in foreign policy in a way that those bad guys like understand there's going to be consequences for bad behavior. There's been no bad consequences
and
for
Otto's
decades.
parents said that. Look, President Obama told us to be quiet. President Trump took our son home. James, how do you see it?
Well, this is one of the last of the old-style Soviet dictatorships. This is what communist dictatorships do. I think it was probably surprising to a lot of people over the last year following this news that you actually can travel to North Korea. To this point, the State Department has had a strong warning, and I think maybe you'd expect from now it would be maybe something more like a ban. I mean, obviously they don't treat visitors any better than they treat their own people, and this
that's a good point.
Anyone who didn't realize that yet,
we shouldn't be there, though. To some extent, we shouldn't be going to these places.
But this was a tour company from China. That was,
that was.
I mean, if you've got a tour company, you make the assumption that you're okay and that you're with a safe group.
Yeah.